bit of history of like how you came up with MYKITCO.
Well, I mean, so I've been doing makeup for 20 years. I started here in Manchester. And, you know, I'm such a tool junkie when it comes to kind of like getting that perfect brush that is shaped in a certain way, it holds a certain way, the handle length is just right. And I like variety. I like to, you know, because I know also that every artist is different. And what brush might suit me maybe wouldn't suit you or, you know, other artists. So really in MYKITCO, I wanted to bring variety first and foremost. And I wanted it to be really like affordable as well. That was really important. Great quality, but super affordable. Because when you're starting to build your kit, you want things. But
Absolutely.
Instead of just buying, you know, instead of buying lots of kind of basic things, I wanted to help people buy lots of decent things that are going to last them their career, you know. And I felt the quality isn't what they used to be. So I was like, well, I'll just make my own. Maybe I'll start with 10 brushes. 10 brushes snowballed into 20, 30, 40. I think we launched with 40 in the very beginning. And then with the brushes, obviously, I was obsessed with organizing my kit. And I knew all of my friends were running to Ricky's. They were going to Screenface in the UK. They were going to all of these different stores to try and find the perfect bags. And I was like, it's a no-brainer. Let's put them all in the same place. It's a one-stop shop, bags and brushes, you know? Absolutely. And that's kind of how MYKITCO came about. And, you know, I didn't want to put my name on it. I wanted it to feel like you kind of owned it yourself, like MYKITCO. So it's my kit, and it's, you know, this is how we're building it. And Calvin, tell me, do you know what our logo is? Because so many people get it and so many people don't get it.
It's isn't it a little? Isn't it? I want to say it's a brush head.
Yes, yes, it is.
It is.
You are right. It's a little cute brush head. Because I wanted it to be quite fun, and Alex and I are obsessed with going to Japan, and basically anything in Japan is kawaii, it's cute. And so I was like, let's make it fun. Let's do like a little cute brush head logo. And that's how the smiley face came about.
That's awesome. Well, let's go through some brushes and talk about it so people can actually win this contest at the end. So you want to like start going through some of your favorite brushes?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so some of my absolute faves. I'm going to go back to the old school with some of my originals as well. One thing that really says quality to me is this brush here, the 112. Which you may have. And this is the softest, most beautiful. It's the tapered brush. Now, the holy grail for me for a brush, you might have it, is something that has a tapered tip.
I think it's in your big old kit. It's in here.
It's in that one here. Now, the 112, you know, I need something that's going to completely hug that crease line. So when you place it on, you know, the tip of the brush does all of the work for you. And if you can feel this brush in real life, it's the most velvety, soft hair. And it does, I mean, I can't blend without it. This guy here is so super soft. So we do a synthetic version as well. There's a natural and a synthetic version. This is the natural hair. So that is one of my absolute die-hard brushes just because the way it moves. I mean, it's like silk on the lid. So beautiful. Another one that I use all the time. Now, this guy is the 0.22, my flawless face, which you guys have. Now, this is a synthetic brush, and just the way that it's tapered. So I created this for foundation application, and I wanted a brush that really fits every little nook and cranny and contour of the face. And so when I'm applying foundation with this, you know, if I want something sheer, I'll whisk, I'll spin it. If I want to build up coverage, I'll bounce. And you can see how it, you know, it just molds itself to the skin. This is a really multitasking brush. Foundation, like powder, blush, cream products, powder products. It's one of the ones that I probably have about 5 or 6 on the go at any one time because it's such a multitask.
Which is really great that you explained that. And by the way, guys, James explains the brushes on his site as well. He gives a breakdown of what the brushes can be used for on his website. But this, most people would probably pick up and go, well, it's a bronzer brush, it's a powder brush. And you built it for a foundation originally. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, so it really gives a really airbrushed out.
Exactly. You know, that, especially if you're working with skin with a little bit of texture, as soon as you start kind of moving it around, because it's a big soft brush, it kind of makes sense that it's going to give you a nice sheer blended application. You know, I would say if you're, it's probably it's the brush version of a beauty blender. If you actually look at the shape of it, it actually looks like a beauty blender. So this is an absolute must-have. It's a die-hard for me. I'm obsessed with this brush.
Fantastic.
And then another one that we adore in the kit, Alex is just going through my, oh yeah, the OG brush. So this is, this is going way back to the very beginning. This was the first ever brush I made for MYKITCO. It's the 1.7, the Ultra Multi.
Okay,
and on first,
because you do have another multi in the kit that in your set that I love and I can't stop using. So this is another multi, and this is number 13.
013.
So this is the old multi, and that's the new multi, I guess.
Yeah, well, kind of. They do slightly different things. So this guy came about because when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, it's a big dome-shaped brush. But actually, it's such a multi-purpose brush. I'll use it for blending concealer. And it just, you know, if you just want to finish, especially around the nose, if you want to buff any kind of product in, it just, because it's nice, it's perfectly dome-shaped, it really blends and buffs. If you want to do a color wash on the eye, you know, you can just take something and just, you know, if you just want that bronzer on the lid that just kind of blows everything out, you can use the Ultra Multi to do that. It's amazing for highlighting just the way that it's shaped. So it's just a great multitasker. Now, the one that you like, the 013, it's slightly more flat. Yes. Alex is just going to grab me one now. No.
Yeah, I hope you guys are hearing the way he's explaining the use of these brushes, because I think when most people see a brush, they assume something about it. They assume, I'm going to use it this way. And when I look at this brush, I thought instantly, well, I'm going to use it for powder under the eye.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so you saying it's a great concealer brush, well, that pushes me forward to thinking, well, I'll try it as a concealer brush. Do you know what I mean? So I hope you guys are really listening to how he's explaining the brushes, because that's like important.
It's the anatomy of the brush and what it does. Like this guy with Laura Mercier's Secret Camouflage Concealer, you won't turn back. It's genius. Like the 1.7. Okay, so now onto the 013. So this one is a little bit more, like it's flat on one side. You can see like it's wider than it's flat, synthetic, and it's really packed with product. Now this one, I like to really shape an eye. When I finish, if I'm doing like a soft wing, I will take the powder and I will really pinpoint and shape. I'll also sculpt a nose with it, but I'll also do concealer with it as well. Katie Jane Hughes is a huge fan of this brush. I think she kind of almost helps to make it.
She uses it for a full face foundation. I've watched her several times, and she does her full face foundation with this brush. Like literally.
Crazy. And also just the way that the fibers work, you know, it's kind of like they're super tapered. So they taper all the way into the top. So you'll never get a hard edge. So when you are kind of, you know, working it over the skin, the way that the bristles work and they kind of work against the skin, you're going to get a soft finish. So yeah, so two multitaskers that do very different things.
But I tell you guys, you're going to want like 2 or 3 of these, because you're going to have concealer on one and contour on the other, and you're going to be like, I need that brush clean. You might as well just get like 2.
Carlton, what do you use it for? Tell me how you use it.
I use it for contour, just like you were saying. I haven't used it for concealer yet, but I definitely use it for contour, and I use it for cream blush.
Nice. Perfect. And the thing is, if you close your eyes and felt this brush, could you tell it's synthetic?
Not at all.
It's like velvety soft, and actually the way that the fibers are shaped at the end, you'll find that with MYKITCO brushes you get very little fallout if you are using powder, because it holds the product.
Nice. Awesome. Let's go to
what
your
else?
next one.
Yes, my next one. You know, we wouldn't be makeup artists if we weren't obsessed with detail. Now, you know, these are just some of our little detailing brushes. We have the 1.22, we have the 117 and the 111.
Nice. This thing's wicked. Like that. This is number... It's so tiny. This is number 1.11.
So I was kind of... This is where I was getting frustrated. So I was like, I need smaller brushes. I was kind of chopping and shaping smaller brushes to make them even smaller at the very beginning. And I was like, why does nobody make tiny brushes? And so I came up with these brushes to begin with. So one of them is a little bit more like angled, the 117. Great for doing like little faked out brows or just finishing a flick. And again, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I'm obsessed with eyeliner. So the one that you were holding, obsessed. The 1.11, this one's great because it's it's tapered a little bit. This is brilliant for a gel line. It will hold up a gel liner quite nicely, and you can just get the finest little flick. However, if you're a fan of a liquid line, then you could use something like the 1.22. This is the Fee liner. Yes. So this one, again, it's a little bit more pointed, more works better with a liquid line. So you have your gel liner, you have your liquid liner, and then you have something that can do both. So, you know, details, details, details. And again, nobody else was seen to really be doing these tiny brushes, and it was a no-brainer.
And for lining, you need to have control. You can't have a brush that's splaying out and wide. And, you know, most people don't want a big fat line, unless they're doing it editorially, you know, or on purpose. Most people want a nice, thin, clean, crisp line. And so you need that tiny brush.
You need those tiny brushes, you need it snug to the lash line. And you also need, again, variety. You might try this one and you'll use it in a different way that perhaps I would. But again, let's have a bit of variety, but everything does a great job, but it's just for different things.
Awesome. So speaking of variety, we have to hit this kit.
Oh yeah. Gorgeous. So this is the Pro Selects. This is our Pro Selects brush. So Alex tasked me about a couple of years ago. He was like, okay, I want you to put together like a greatest hits of
like a masterpiece of brushes.
I know, and it's like, do you love our packaging? How nice. It feels like very modern.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Thanks. So Alex's challenge was, okay, you need to put together your greatest hits from MYKITCO. And it was kind of like choosing between your pets or your children. It was really difficult and it took me a long time. But in the Pro Selects, you have, you know, everything for complexion, soft brushes, larger brushes, detailing brushes. Then we work onto our powdering. Then we go into eyes, into detail, into blending. Then we finish with brows and lips. So it really is, you know, if you're new to the brand and you want to, quickly, go for the Pro Selects. And actually, just the other day, we filmed a really great video, which is really going to talk through the hows and the whys and how we use all of these brushes. So that will be going live soon. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, fantastic.
But again, I just wanted to say,
like literally what he just said, if you are looking for brushes and you're just starting your kit out, this is the one stop. This is it. This is all you'll need to get started. If you want to add brushes later, so be it. But this will cover everything you need to do as a pro makeup artist in the industry right away.
100%. So I'm just going to dip out. And actually, another one of my absolute faves, I'm just going to talk about this, which is the 0.4. This is in the set as well. This is the contouring brush. The defining contour. Yeah. Now, I was just missing in my kit. I was missing that not too soft, not too firm, beautifully contoured, tapering kind of contour brush. And the 0.4, I guess, you know, it was part of the original lineup and I use it on a daily because it just makes your life at contouring so much better for finishing. And it's down to the quality. You know, this brush would be
like velvet.
Feels like velvet. This brush would be 4 years old at least, and it still has that beautiful spring to it. You know, there's no kind of hairs dropping out. It just, you know, they're built to last.
Is this one synthetic or real?
This is a natural version. We do a synthetic version as well. The 0.16.
How do you remember?
I don't know. It's weird. And we just launched 10 more brushes and I've finally started to get them into my brain, what they are. But I'm like, you know, that one with the point and then, yeah, you know.
Awesome. So are you ready to talk about some bags? Because
let's talk about
everyone
bags.
needs a good bag. So
yeah.
You ready to start?
So interesting. So the story of the legendary MYKITCO brush buddy, I was literally sat at home in the kitchen. This is the guy. And I was like, I'm sick of carrying a brush belt. I want something that I can kind of put all my brushes in. It keeps them divided. It keeps them like divided by style or used and not used or however you wanted to do it. I wanted something that was upright, that would sit nicely on my station. Alex is just going to pass me one. And I wanted something that, you know, you could close down at the end. And so this is a completely unique design. Literally, I sketched it, I stitched together fabric and materials and made like a Frankenstein monster version of this to send off to my manufacturer. And from the beginning, it was funny. I was like, I feel like we're onto something here. And this is where the whole buddy thing started. And I was like, the brush bag, the brush box. No, it needs to be fun. It needs to be the brush buddy. And that's how it started, really. So, yeah, I mean, this is its second, this is point two. This is, what, 2.0? This is 2.0. There may be some different changes in the future, but for now we're on 2.0 and we're loving it. So this is
you know what I love about this bag so much?
Tell me.
Is that it's structured, that everything's not flopping around. It has walls. Yeah, so I like that it actually has those plexi there's these plexi structures in it that keep everything separated, like he was saying, separated. Can you guys see that? Yeah. It's like these plexi structures. So it's not just a bag. It actually has dividers that stay in place in it.
So you can see I put all my synthetics in one of them. So this is my complexion buddy. So this has all of my, like, you know, tons of these. And then also, did the guys have the base as well? Don't they?
I've got the base, yeah.
Yeah, and also then, so we started with the brush buddy, and then came the brush buddy base, which is this guy. So I'm just going to pop the buddy out, Calvin, and just show you. So if you know, once you've got your brush buddy, this is how it comes, and we love it. And I was like, okay, I want a little bit more mileage out of my brush buddy. I need it to do an extra thing. Like, it needs to be a transform. So yeah, what next for it? And so then came the brush buddy base, which is, you know, super handy bag. It's got 2 side pouches. It has this foldable, you know, thing at the front where you can keep loads of stuff as well. And the beauty of this is your brush buddy will sit right inside, and all of a sudden you've got, you know, you've doubled up your space. You've turned it into almost like a set bag. You can keep it in there. You can keep it out. I use the base on it as its own, as a set bag a lot of the time as well, because it's just a great little handbag size. So, you know, you can buy the brush buddy on its own, or you can double up, and we call it the brush buddy combo. And I feel like it's one of our best-selling things. In fact, I know it is. Yeah.
Well, it just makes sense. I was going to mention what you had mentioned, that it's like for a set bag, taking your brushes out, maybe locking them in your car so they don't get like stolen or whatever, and just use the bag on set with your you know, your must-haves.
Totally, yeah, it's a grab and go. Or you know what? I'll go with the full unit. I'll leave my brushes on the station, then I'll take this one on set.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you have a my the big, what's it called? My big.
This is the big brush buddy. Yeah. So, you know, see, in my smaller one, I keep all of my detailing brushes. This is just my organizational brain. So all of my detail brushes live in here, because they're smaller, and then all of my bigger brushes, they'll live in the big guy. And I've probably got about five or six on the go, just in the studio here, because it helps me just to keep everything nicely arranged and organized.
Awesome. Well, do you want to go over any more of the other like little bags that you like this?
Yeah,
bag?
for sure. I mean, obviously, on top of all of that, we call them the MYKITCO Classics, and I'm surrounded by them. Alex is going to pass me some. You know, again, if you're talking about organization, this is our PVC box bag, and it's got all of our pallets inside it. So in this bag, it's perfectly, we make everything measured to size. So this bag, for example, will fit, I think it fits 8 of our magnetic palettes, 8 or 9. So in this bag here, I'll keep all of my blushes. You can see like all of those palettes. But again, if you just wanted a really sturdy bag for your skincare, then it's a really roomy, a great size box bag. And the thing about the MYKITCO PVC, like, it's really durable and really thick. You know, it's not gonna tear, it's not gonna wear a hole in. Like, it's really, really heavy duty, and it's built to last. And so that's our PVC box bag. Then we have the PVC cube, which is again bigger still. I wanted something just to hold really heavy bottles. And then talking about the smaller bags, Alex is just going to go into my kit.
I was looking at this one.
Oh yes, the PVC pod. Great for used brushes, great for storing brushes on the go. At the end of the shoot, I'll put all of my dirty brushes in that, and I'll be like ready to go. But there's a couple of, oh yeah, all right, yeah.
But they do have pouch.
Okay, and last two, we've got our big, extra large canvas pouch with a handle.
That's a nice.
That one I'll keep my body paint stuff in generally. This is a big guy. This is kind of the biggest we go in our canvas pouch world. All of them have handles as well.
Awesome.
Alex, what else have we got?
They've got the twin canvas pouch.
Well, James, before we end, I want to ask you a few questions, just because
By the way.
Yeah. As an artist, because you work so much, and you're still working, like you said, you got upset today. Have you ever designed a brush or brushes just for you? Like, you had a brush in mind that you had to make because you needed it so bad.
Yes, I would say pretty much every launch. Like, obviously, I'm kind of here for the artist. Yeah, I'm not selfish. I'm for everybody, really. But on occasion, there's certain brushes that I'm like, this one I just have to have. And recently, it's this guy here. This is the 130. And this one is my On Point Blender Small.
Pencil.
it's that tapered tip. And I'm a real fan of doing that kind of floating kind of crease line. And so I wanted a brush that you can just feather. And if you want to do like a smoked out liner, the tip of the brush, see how only the tip of the brush moves, the rest of the brush stays still. And that's the magic of this little brush, because it really is, it helps you detail and get the softest effect. So that's a James brush.
That's new.
That's a
Well,
new
I
one.
really wanted to ask that question, because I know like the